Welcome back to Wealthy Mentor Trading, guys. Today is January the 2nd, 2022. I want to wish everyone a happy New Year's, and hopefully everyone gets off to a great start. Starting tomorrow, the market is open, so I'm going to be taking a look at the S&P 500 today and where we left off last week and some targets going into tomorrow and the rest of the week. I'm also going to be talking about 5 stocks that I'm bullish on to open up 2022, and names like Home Depot, which are approaching all-time highs. XPEV, a strong EV name that reported some great delivery numbers in January. Nvidia, bullish analysts have targets of $400. Tesla reported some crazy delivery numbers on the fourth quarter, along with NIO, another EV name, delivering crazy numbers on EVs for December month. So I'm going to be taking a look at those 5 stocks and targets for each and one of them and what my thoughts are on each and one of those stocks. With that being said, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and also please don't forget to subscribe to the channel because we do report videos every single Sunday. And going forward, I'm going to be introducing more videos throughout the week as well. With that being said, guys, this is the S&P chart 500 here. And as you guys can see here, we did have that all-time highs. We were flirting with that 47.30. 47.44, which was that top over here back on December the 15th. And, we started off the week pretty bullish. We were at that area right here, and, we gapped up here and pushing all the way to that $4,800 mark, which was an area for me to look at. It was that psychological resistance, right? Stocks do tend to move in those round numbers. And as you guys can see here, we did have a consolidation basically between 4,800 and 4,780, and we just closed below that on Friday, closing off New Year's at 4,766. Now, going into next week, I'm definitely looking at that $4,800 mark for my entries, right? But first things first, we do have 4,780 as overhead resistance. We have multiple candlesticks right here on the 1-hour chart representing rejection at that 4,780 mark. Now, I did intend to see that being rejected going into the close of the year. A lot of times market makers will have the S&P 500 or certain stocks capped at a certain price. And to be honest with you, it's best just to stay out and observe. And that's what I did mostly, right? And I advised members to stay in cash and also understand that not much is going to happen because we did have very low volume. Now, going into next week, as I mentioned, 4780 is that first area for me. And I have overall an entry point above that 4800 mark for potential push up to 4820 and 4850. Overall, the stock market is bullish and it is trending at all-time highs. However, we also got to look at the downside, right? We do have that 4750 as an area of support. If that does break, I am looking at a test of previous all-time highs around that 4743 all the way to 4720, which was an area where we catapulted here last week, pushing higher to create those all-time highs. Okay, so that's my views on the S&P 500, and I am pretty bullish, guys, okay? And one of the first names that I want to discuss is NIO. So that's the first name on my list. Now, NIO is one of the EV names, and it is one of the names we do trade at Wealthy Mentor Trading, part of our swing trading names, right? So here I am on the 4-hour chart on NIO. And as you guys can see here, we did have an all-time highs here at $55. And so far, since I would say July, we have been trending downwards. However, NIO did report that they had delivered 10,000 EVs in December, the second straight month of deliveries exceeding this threshold, along with 109% year-over-year growth, which is pretty damn good, guys, especially for a name that is pretty new, right? It's pretty new to the EV sector. From a technical standpoint, I am looking for a break of this 3450 area, which was a low point here back on October the 5th, right? So a break above 3450, I am looking at entries, right, for a push up to 37, 39.50, and most importantly, this top right here at that $44 area, which we've been rejected multiple times and then headed lower, right? So if you are a swing trader, you would want to enter at that 34.50 area, which was the top right here. And what you also want to see is convincing volume on these moves, right? So if you're unsure if this is a real move, look at the volume, right? You want to see a spike like this, a spike like this, something like this right here, pretty much showing that buyers are stepping in and pushing the stock up, right? So going into next week and throughout the month, that 34.50 area is a key level for me. But if you are a safer trader, look for that $44 area for a potential push to that 47.48 area, which we did consolidate here, guys, back on June, all throughout August right here, right? So June to August was an area where we couldn't break $47. So if you are a safer trader, look for that $44 area to break for a potential push and take profit at 47 to 48.50. Now, as a day trader like myself and what we do at Wealthy Mentor Trading, I am looking for that 34.50 area, right? My first take profit is 37 and 39.50. So these are two areas that I'm looking for next week. I am bullish on NEO just because their numbers were great for 2 straight months. So I'm looking for a momentum into 2022 for a continued move. All right. So that is NEO on the 4-hour time frame and my overall view. Okay. Another name which is pretty bullish, and they did report pretty strong numbers as well, and that's Tesla, right? Here we are on Tesla on the 4-hour time frame. And as you guys can see here, I am going to zoom in. So last week we did have a hard time trying to break that $1,100 area all the way to 1,120. We did get rejected multiple times, right? So this is one of those names that market makers were capping this right until the new year. Tesla was in talks to report their earnings, and they delivered some great numbers, right? They delivered 308,000 vehicles in the fourth quarter and saw a surge of 87%, which is pretty damn good, guys. And as you guys know, when numbers like this come out, the stock does tend to push, and that's exactly what type of catalyst I was looking at for a break above that 1100 to 1120 mark. I knew we weren't going to get that at the end of the year. They wanted to start up with a fresh year, and Tesla had all the selling by Elon Musk, and he did sell some more actually last week. Now that the selling's over with, and along with all this bullish news regarding their delivery numbers, I definitely am looking above that $1,100 area and that $1,120 area. To me, I am going to look at entries above here, 1120. So if 1120 breaks, I do have take profits of 1130 and 1150. If 1150 breaks, we do have some strong resistance, guys. As you guys previously know, 1180 and 1186 is the next take profit area. Now, from previous past, Tesla has always run higher on these delivery numbers. So I am looking for a potential push higher going into next week, along with analyst upgrades that have kept going higher. We have $1,400, $1,500, $1,700 on Tesla. So I am looking for a bullish move going into next week and an overall great year for Tesla. All right. So to the downside, now if we cannot, push higher, we do have that 1050 area as key support. And if that does break, I am looking at shorting positions and a take profit at that 1020 mark. If 1020 can't hold, obviously we have that $1,000 psychological support, which was previous resistance right here, unable to break out, right? Previous resistance now turns to support. So $1,000 is that magical support number, that psychological support number that buyers like to come in and step in and protect and then see a bounce. Now that's the worst case scenario if obviously the news tomorrow doesn't take effect and traders aren't really bullish on those numbers. But in my experience and my years of trading, those numbers were awesome, and names like Tesla really thrive on those type of delivery numbers. So keep your eyes on Tesla above that 1,100 and more specifically that $1,120 area, whereas obviously you guys can see here we did have multiple rejections. Okay. Another name that's important to me that also saw significant selling, and that was Nvidia, right? Nvidia is pretty bullish, right? Analysts have targets of $370 on Nvidia, and overall we do have a hard time breaking that 305 area. So to me, that's my entry point, and for a potential push all the way to 314, right? A break of 305, you want to take profits at 309. That's an area where previous selling has occurred. As you guys can see here, it was a rejection point back on November the 11th, right? So 309 is an area for me to take profits at. Now, if 309 breaks, obviously we have a top right here where we got a rejection on December the 28th, and that would be a second take profit area, right? It was also a rejection point here, here, and obviously as the latest one was here. So 314 is a strong area of resistance. So as I always instruct my students, I always want to take profits at those key resistance points. And then when you see convincing volume or a further catalyst come in or an analyst upgrades, you can always re-enter and, you know, take your position to a different level. You always want to lock in those profits and hold on to your gains. You just don't want to let the stock run forever. That's why there's resistance and support zones. It represents buyers and sellers, right? And if there is a significant wall at that 314 area, you definitely want to close your position. Now, if volume precedes that, you want to re-enter your position. But that way, at least you lock in your profits, okay? Now, to the downside, let's just say we have an awful week, right? 294 is key support. It was a bouncing point right here. It held over here back on November the 17th, and once more here on the 10th of November, and it was the breakout here on November the 4th. So 294 is a significant area for me. Now, if that cannot hold, I do have 286, 280, and 275, which are key support areas. As you guys can see here, we bounced off once on December the 13th, and over here, buyers stepped in on the 21st of December, okay? So 294, watch out for that area for a potential push down to take profits of 286 and the final support zone at that 275.5 area. Overall, I am neutral on Nvidia. I do believe that there is more selling, and until we break that 314 area, to me, that would be significant in creating that trend change that I always look for in a stock. We are on a 4-hour time frame, so it is a significant time frame, right? It holds a lot of value. So 314 is an area for me that I want to look at for a trend change, but from a standpoint of as a day trader, I want to look for a break of a 305 for potential take profits of 309 and 314. Okay, neutral on Nvidia. I want to see how it performs next week. New year, let's see how it goes. Okay, so that is Nvidia on the 4-hour time frame. Another name, XPEV, another EV name that performed really well and had some great delivery numbers. I am here on the 4-hour time frame, and like I said, reported 16,000 deliveries, a new monthly record, along with a 260%, 63% increase over 2020. That is pretty large, guys, right? Again, this is like NIO, another new EV name, trying to make its name amongst the giants like Tesla, right? They want a piece of the puzzle. So a 263% increase over 2020 is big. I am looking for continued strength into 2022, right? But from a technical standpoint, I am looking at that $51 area, right? Why? Because we got a rejection here, right? Significant rejection. To the upside, we held that area multiple times here back on November, right? So previous resistance now turns to support. So I am looking for a break above 51. If 51 does break, we have targets right here of $55, which was a take profit area, and a resistance point back on November the 24th. And if that does break, we do have all-time highs here at that $57 area, right? So I am looking for a take profit target of that $57 area as my number 2. We did have a strong week, right? We did push above 12%. So I am looking for continued strength. And obviously we have that catalyst of them delivering 16,000 vehicles and creating that new monthly record and a 260% increase. That's definitely something that you should be watching next week. Obviously the EV sector was pretty hot in 2021. I am looking for continued strength in 2022, and this is one of those names. Keep this name on your watch list, XPEV. All right, another name that's significant to me, and let's get away from the EV names right now, right? We have Home Depot. Home Depot was one of those stocks that I kept my eye on throughout the year, and let me tell you something. Every time there was a dip, buyers stepped in, right? And it was also one of those names during the pandemic that held strong. Lumber was such in demand, right? And Home Depot just rose higher and higher. we do have all-time highs here at that 422 area, and we have this V-shaped correction where buyers bought this dip at that 384 area. Closing Friday's session last Friday and New Year's, right, at that 415 mark. Above 415 is what I'm looking at for a potential push to 422 would be my first take profit area. Also, we have that 422, 423 area, which was a top here back on the 7th of December. So I am looking at those two take profit targets of 420 and that 423 area. Now, if we get past that, 426 and 430 as are my next take profit areas. And Home Depot is not always the quickest mover. However, it's consistent and it's one of those names you definitely want to look at going into the new year for a continued push. It's also one of the names that we do trade on the daily at Wealthy Mentor Trading. By the way, guys, we still have that $99 promo, so don't forget to click the link in the description if you do want to trade with us and join the group. All right, so 415 is the area for me to the upside. Now to the downside, 410, 46 are key support areas. If 406 breaks, 400 is an area for me. It was the breakout point right here, and we did have a significant rejection here back on December the 23rd. So 406, below that, you're looking at $400 take profit. Overall, like I said, it is in a V-shaped correction, and it is at a point right here to break out and test all-time highs. So keep Home Depot in mind going into next week, and also keep it on your watch list going into the new year, as it is a pretty strong name, and analysts are also bullish on it, right? We have analysts of $450 targets. So that's a street high. So they're pretty bullish on it, right? So and that's a pretty good percentage move, right? If you're entering at 415 and you're pushing all the way to 450, that's pretty good, right? So if you buy shares, you know, you can make a lot of money. And if you're trading options, what we do at Wealthy Mentor Trading, you can also net a lot of money. So keep Home Depot in mind. All right, guys. So those were 5 stocks I'm bullish on to open up 2022. As you guys know here, Home Depot, 415, XPEV, another huge name. Look above that $51 area. Nvidia, 305 is that point for a potential 314 take profit. And remember, 314 has a strong resistance point, right? It is also an area what you want to look at to create that trend change. Take profits when it hits there. Tesla reported 308,000 vehicles sold in fourth quarter. Big news, guys. Watch above that 1120 area. NIO, another EV name, delivering 10,000 EVs in December. Big number. Watch above that 34.5 area for potential push higher. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining in, and I want to wish everyone a happy New Year's and good luck trading into tomorrow, and I hope everyone has a great 2022 going forward. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.